Happy Thursday. It's a yoga day. I hope you've had a good week. You can have a seat, and for today's practice, you're going to want either a yoga blanket, or you might have a bath towel or a beach towel, a large towel if you don't have a yoga blanket. All right, but you can find a comfortable seat first. We'll chat for a moment. You can sit up on any props you might have, or you can fold up your beach towel or yoga blanket to sit on. And I want to invite you to land with me in this moment, in this breath. Just noticing the air moving in through the nostrils and back out. So I was thinking this morning about one of my favorite teachings of a dear teacher of mine when I put too much salt in my oatmeal. I was mixing in some ginger, some cinnamon, and I put in a pinch of salt, but then I realized that pinch of salt was a little too big. And so instead of throwing it away or assaulting my taste buds, I just made my breakfast bigger. I added in some more oatmeal, I added in some more hot water, and all was well. And so this made me think of this teaching that I've heard again and again by my teacher, Jillian Pransky. If you don't know her, look her up. She's amazing. But she always talks about the salty solution as our way, our capacity of taking on the difficult emotions, the difficult experiences in our lives. So if you were to put a big pinch of salt in a shot glass, it would be way too salty. If you were to pour that shot glass into a great big mug and fill it with more water, same amount of salt, a little bit more space, a little bit more palatable. And if you were to put it in a bathtub, if you were to put it in a swimming pool, etc., etc. Point being that this is what, through our yoga practice, this is the capacity within ourselves that we are getting in touch with, our own capacity to expand our wateriness, to expand our capacity to hold the salt, to accept the salt without grimacing, right? If we're tight and narrow-minded, with shallow breath, and life throws something salty at us, it's very difficult not to react. And as we soften, as we relax our muscles, and as we expand our breath, and as we correspondingly expand the ways that our mind works, expand the space we have to receive information, to process information, and expand the space between the stimulus of experiencing something difficult or hearing something difficult and the response, the way we react, the more ease we feel in the same difficult situations. And so if there happens to be anything that's weighing on you in this moment, anything that is feeling a little difficult, I think we all have a new set of circumstances than our nervous system is used to. I want to invite you to use these next few moments to summon those thoughts, ideas, feelings to the surface. If they're big ones, maybe just start with a grain of the salt. And sense into your own wateriness, your own softness, your own expansiveness. Add in a little more oatmeal. Add in a little bit more water to the salty solution. Take a breath. Pause. let the breath go. Take another breath and pause. See if you can relax the throat as you hold that breath in gently with care. And softly, with ease, let that breath go. You are expansive enough to hold all of your experiences with softness and with some element of ease. And as you inhale, let's just float the arms up overhead. And just keep the elbows soft and the fingers spread. And just for now, you can let the shoulders relax. And as you inhale, just energize out through the fingertips a little bit. And maybe the arms straighten and go nice and wide. And then as you exhale, you'll cross your arms to opposite legs and just let your head bow down. And spread your hands wide and take a big breath into the back of the body. Let your chin tuck towards your chest, the back of the neck lengthens. And then as you inhale, the arms open wide again, the chest lifts. Take a big breath into your own expansiveness. Let the arm bones lift. And as you exhale, cross the other arm on top. Spread the hands wide. Let your chin tuck down towards your chest. Let your next breath expand the shoulder blades. And let the breath go. And lift yourself up. Circle your shoulders around and down. And you're going to grab your yoga blanket or beach towel. And you'll fold it so that it's nice and wide. So it needs to be, if you're not using a standard yoga blanket, it just needs to be a little bit wider than your rib cage. And you'll take it towards the head of your mat, and we're just going to make a little roll, a gentle roll. And you can kind of slide it down a little bit. So many of you have done a supported fish with me before. If you haven't, I often see people putting this blanket in like either too high or a little too low, and here's how you're going to get it in the right place. Your head kind of hangs down, and when you take your arms out to the side, there should be maybe a little bit of space, depending on how long your torso is, a little bit of space between your arm and where the roll sticks out. It's lifting the shoulder blades, and it should feel like it's directly behind the breastbone. And then you'll lengthen your tailbone forward to land the back of the pelvis on the ground. And you'll straighten one leg and then the other. If this is bothering your lower back, it might mean that this roll is too high. You can unroll it and give yourself a nice full breath to settle into this shape. So the space of openness, the part of the body that we tend to protect, the heart, the lungs. And see if you can allow your next breath to expand. Front of the rib cage, the sides of the rib cage. And as you exhale, just very gently draw the bottom front ribs in towards each other and down towards the navel. Take another breath in like that. And let the breath go. Okay, stretch your right arm up in the air. You're going to take your left hand to your right upper arm, and we're doing this with the left hand to make sure the shoulder moves. Spin your arm as though you're trying to spin your elbow to point towards the midline of your body. Spin your upper arm, and then turn your palm to face the midline without turning your arm again. And then from here, we're going to reach the arm up and back.
So your thumb, if your hand touches the floor, your thumb touches first. And then you'll use the left hand to help pull the arm a little bit further out of its socket. You're not pulling it out of its socket. To reach a little bit further back and keep that rotation. And now squeeze your lats, squeeze the shoulder blade onto your back and see if you can find which muscles in my back are going to keep my elbow pointing a little bit more towards the ceiling as I let go with my left hand. Take a breath, stretch both arms up towards the ceiling. You might notice that one arm feels like it's a little bit longer than the other. I think my right arm is reaching like 2 inches higher than my left. And then as you reach your 2 arms back, just see if you feel a difference in how your breath moves. In this one, you're not really efforting. You're just resting your arms back behind you and breathing. And then we'll do the left side. Right hand to left upper arm. Use your right hand to spin your elbow towards the midline as much as you can. Notice how that turns your palm to face back behind you a little bit more. So just from the wrist, turn your palm towards the midline. Keep the upper arm rotating. And then lift the arm towards the ceiling and reach it back, 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 back. And use your right arm to help reach your left arm back a little bit more. Drop the back of the rib cage down. So your bottommost back ribs, especially on the left side, rest towards the ground as your left arm reaches back. And take a nice big breath. And let the breath go. And then as you start to release the hold of your right arm, see what muscles in my back can I activate to help point my left elbow towards the ceiling from the shoulder blade as I reach the left arm back. And take another big breath in. Exhale, draw your bottom front ribs down. Reach both arms up. Take a nice full breath. Exhale, arms go back. And then just relax your arms back behind you. Feel the breath expanding the ribs, expanding the chest. Take another big breath. And now keep your right arm where it is. We're not done massaging the space around the heart just yet. So you're going to hug your left knee in towards your chest. And then the left knee comes across the body. So briefly, you're in a twist. You can stretch your left arm out to the left. And then we're going to roll onto your right side, and you can use your left arm to support you. Take a breath here. So now the blanket or the towel is massaging the thoracic part of the rib cage. And then your left arm reaches up and opens you back through the twist. You're coming back through your supported fish pose. You switch legs and switch arms. So your left arm reaches back behind you, your right knee pulls into your chest, and as the right leg comes across the body, the right arm reaches out to the right. And then let that leg pull you fully onto your left side. Your head rests on your left arm. Right arm takes you back into the twist. Right arm goes up by your head, switch arms, switch legs. Right arm forward, left knee in. Come across your twist, left arm out. Roll fully onto your right side. And the left arm takes you back into the twist. Switch arms, switch legs. Left arm up, left leg forward, right knee in. Right knee across, right arm out. Pause in your twist, take a breath. And then left knee pulls you onto your, right knee pulls you onto your side. Rest your head on your left arm. Take a breath. See if you can expand the ribs with the breath into the blanket. Right arm pulls you back into the twist. We'll do one more each side. Switch arms, switch legs. Right arm up, left knee in. Left leg comes across, left arm reaches out. Take a breath in your twist. And then left leg pulls you onto your side. Rest on your right side. Pause. And finally, left arm takes you back into your twist. Switch arms, switch legs. Left arm up, right knee in. Right knee goes across, right arm out. Right knee pulls you onto your side. Take a breath, expand the ribs into the blanket. And right arm pulls you back into your twist. And onto your back. Feet on the ground. Arms reach up and back. Take a big breath in. Let the breath expand the front and sides and back of the rib cage. Exhale, melt into this gentle upper spine, back bend. And then you'll roll onto your side, come on up. You'll move the blanket off to the side. Don't think we'll necessarily be using it again unless you like padding under your knees. You can keep it rolled up for later if you like. And let's come onto your back again. So we found, just pause with your feet on the ground and see if you can feel the effects of that work you did to open the back and sides of the rib cage and to open the front of the rib cage. Feel your breath expanding the full circumference of the rib cage. Utilizing the full circumference of the lungs. Now we're going to support this openness with a little bit of stabilizing work. So you're going to hug your right knee in towards your chest and stretch your left leg forward. As you breathe in, so this first one we're going to do a little slower. As you breathe in, the right leg goes away from you. As you breathe out, hug your chin towards your chest, your knee towards your nose, maybe they even touch. Now, here's where it's important, and I can't talk while doing this, but I'll show you in a moment. So after you breathe out, you're going to hold the exhale, and then with your mouth closed, pretend like you're trying to breathe in, but you're not. It's going to pull on the diaphragm. So breathe out. As you pretend you're breathing in, the leg pulls away from you and the bottom front ribs stay dropped down. So you're rounding the spine and you're letting the leg pull the upper chest up and forward. Okay, so it looks like this. Take a breath in. Exhale. And then as you exhale, you rest back down. So you'll feel a kind of a release needs to happen. A lock needs to be unlocked to let the breath out. Let's try it on the other side slowly, and then we'll do it a few times with the breath. So take a breath in, let the knee fall away from you. Exhale, chin to chest, knee to nose. We'll do this one. This one will be a little asynchronous with the breath. We'll demonstrate a little bit more. So you're squeezing in, you're scooping the belly in, you're dropping the bottom ribs down. And then at the end of your next exhale, don't breathe in, but pretend like you're trying to, and let the diaphragm be pulled down and up, down towards the mat and up towards your nose. Exhale. And then as you exhale, relax back down. Okay, so we're gonna do that a few times each side with the breath. If you want to add a layer of difficulty, the straight leg floats. So it brings a little bit more of an abdominal contraction into the mix. So right leg in, left leg forward, maybe hover it. Take a breath in, let the right leg pull away from you. Remember, at the end of your exhale, you're not breathing in until after you complete the subsequent action. Take a breath in, exhale.
As you exhale, you can switch legs. Maybe your head comes down, maybe you keep it lifted for a little extra challenge. Take a breath in, leg pulls away. We have the exhale and the pause breath. Take a breath in. Switch legs, release. Inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale, leg away. Exhale, draw it in. One more each side. Take a breath in, leg pulls away. Exhale. Last one. Inhale, leg pulls away. Exhale. And hug your two knees in. Rock side to side. Knees over to the right. Let's release the abs a little. And knees over to the left. Hug your knees in. And rock yourself up to sit. All right. Whew. Anyone else feeling sturdy right around the diaphragm? Okay, let's come to stand. So you'll come to stand at the front of your mat. Hips over your ankles, spread through your toes. And feel it's almost like you've made yourself a muscular corset around the base of the rib cage. And just feel that corset soften, right? Unlike the kind that doesn't move with your breath, this corset can expand. Right, this corset can soften and relax to receive the breath in. And then as you exhale, you can dial it in a little bit. You can lace it up a little tighter. You can feel the abdominal support, all of the abdominal muscles cinching in to hold you up. Inhale, let that go, expand. Exhale, cinch it in. You can even, if this is new to you, if this is more subtle than you're used to being with your breath, you can even just take your hands and see if you can feel. Expand sideways into your hands, front and back. And then exhale, everything draws into the midline. You can use your hands to help direct your ribs and your muscles to move the way you want. And if that's not working, do it in your mind, right? That's where the intention begins. Okay. And take another full breath and let the breath go. And now as you inhale, your arms sweep out and up and the ribs spread. Exhale, squeeze it in as you fold forward. Inhale, chest lifts, heart reaches forward. Exhale, bring your hands to the ground. Send your left leg back. Now we'll take the back knee down and point the back toes. You can take that blanket under your knee if you'd like. And lift your chest. Take a breath in. Expand the arms wide, expand the ribs wide. And exhale as though your hands were pushing your ribs in narrower. Push your hands down. Good. Sink your hips forward. Push your right heel down to lift the pelvis. And then the arms reach up again. Now remember what we did when we were lying on your back. Spin the elbows forward and then lift them up. Lift the chest as though you're lifting over that blanket that was rolled underneath you. Take a breath. And now as though you are cinching the bottom ribs down like you were doing in your sit-up, pull the bottom ribs in and sweep your arms back around the spine. Turn your palms to face up and just get a little push towards the ceiling. Inhale, open. And now see if in your back bend, as you turn the elbows forward and lift the arms, see if in your back bend you can find a little bit of that cinching down. Just a little bit of the bottom front ribs pulling down. Take another breath there. Exhale, hands to the ground. Downward facing dog. Give yourself a nice full breath in here and a full breath out. As you inhale, come forward to plank pose. Draw your shoulders back, push the floor away, pull the shoulders back, and then even in plank pose, can you expand the breath wide on the inhale and draw the ribs in as you exhale. Good. See if you can keep those ribs cinching in as you draw your shoulders back and lower all the way down. Point your toes back, lift the low belly, keep your bottom ribs pulling in, just like you did in the crescent lunge in your Anjaneyasana. Shoulders back, chest forward, baby cobra pose. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Full breath in here, and full breath out. Now in your downward facing dog, bend your elbows just a tiny bit. Spin your elbows to point back towards your knees. Draw your bottom front ribs in slightly, even as you lift the tailbone. Keep spinning your elbows back as you lengthen your arms. You should be feeling this all around the shoulder blades, around the armpits. Take another breath. And then right leg lifts up, and right foot forward, and left foot forward. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, arms sweep out and up. Exhale, hands fall by your sides. Take a breath in, and a breath out. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, right leg back, back knee down. Arms rise up as you inhale. Point the back toes. From the shoulders, palms face each other. Lift the upper arm bones. Lift the chest. Take a nice big breath like you're folding backwards over that blanket that was behind your heart. And then scoop the bottom front ribs down, round the spine. And press your arms up behind you. Press your palms up towards the ceiling. Push down through your left heel. And lift arms forward and up, lift your chest. Palms face each other. From the shoulders, spin your palms towards each other and maybe even a little bit back. Push down through your left heel. As you lift your chest, draw your bottom front ribs in. Take a nice big breath. Exhale, downward facing dog. Keep that arm positioning in your downward facing dog. Elbows spin in and back. Push your hands down. Inhale to plank. And just pause in your plank pose. We're going to be here a little while. If you need to take your knees down, please do. But see if you can find a little taste of that saltiness. Right? Where do you feel it first? Do you feel it in your arms, your shoulders, in your mind? Right? What turns on first and says, this tastes salty? And then what reserves do you have to invite yourself to be a little bit more spacious? Can you expand the breath? Can you soften the intention? I'm just simply here. Take a few more breaths. If I can talk and do this, if I can talk calmly and do this, you can do this. One more breath. And then use the whole exhale to lower down. Point your toes. Heart lifts as you inhale, maybe a tiny bit higher, but draw the bottom ribs back. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. And left foot forward. Right foot forward, inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hands by your sides. We'll do that again with the breath. Inhale, arms lift, heart lifts. Exhale, fold. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, left leg back. Back knee down, point your back toes. Arms rise up as you inhale, elbows point forward, upper arms lift. Scoop the belly and the lower ribs down and back. Arms sweep back and up, round like you're rounding over a beach ball. Inhale, chest lifts, but keep the bottom front ribs dropping down. Exhale, hands to the ground. Downward facing dog. You can stay and breathe, take a child's pose if you like. Or inhale to plank. Exhale, lower half or all the way, shoulders back. Heart lifts as you inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. If you're in up dog, bottom ribs lift. Exhale, back, down dog. Right leg lifts, inhale. Right foot forward. Left foot forward, lift your heart. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hands fall. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, heart forward. Sorry, UPS, I'm busy. Exhale, right leg goes back. Back knee goes down. Arms rise up as you inhale. Palms face each other. Exhale, bottom ribs drop. Drop your head. Sweep your arms back and up. Inhale, heart lifts, bottom ribs stay dropped. Exhale, hands to the ground, downward facing dog. Stay and breathe, take a child's pose or inhale, plank. Exhale, lower, shoulders back. Heart lifts, bottom ribs stay in. Exhale, back, down dog. Left leg lifts. And the left foot forward. Right foot forward, heart lifts. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hands fall. Take a breath in here. Take a breath out. Give yourself space to pause here, to be here. This space between movement and pausing is often one that we avoid. Because in this space, we can taste the saltiness a little bit more fully. We don't taste it when we're in motion. And when we're still, we're all the more present to what is there. And the invitation is, rather than in this moment to keep moving right away, to fidget, to let your hands be still. And to allow yourself, allow your awareness to be still with anything that arises. With trust that you are spacious enough to hold it all. Feel yourself to expand. Feel yourself expand to contain all of it. And then slowly, gently take the whole length of the breath in to stretch your arms up overhead. Turn your palms to face each other, and as you exhale, bend your knees. Sit back into your heels. Shifting your weight into your right foot, pick up your left heel. And we're just going to keep it nice and simple. Step back to a lunge. Arms lift. Same as we did with the back knee down. Bottom front ribs drop. Chest lifts. You can have a little bend in the back knee to allow a little bit more uprightness through your pelvis, through your upper body. And then back heel turns down, we'll open to a warrior two. Inner right knee reaches forward as always. Now practicing that movement from the shoulders, different movement, same idea. From the shoulders, turn the palms to face up. Take a breath. From the wrists, turn the palms to face down. Keep the shoulders rolling back. So you're hugging the shoulder blades down the back of the body. As you do, can you also just slightly gently drop the bottom front ribs? And take a breath into this space of being where you are. One more breath here. And cartwheel your hands around to the front of the mat, heel toe your right foot out to the right. You can take your back knee down, push down through your right heel, let your hips lift up as your upper body folds down. Some of you might take elbows to the ground. I'm going to take forearms to a block today. So rather than sinking the hips down into this, can you find a little bit of space, right? A little bit of your expansiveness, a little bit of your spaciousness by lifting the hips up as you drop the head down. And you might find that as you support yourself in your own expansiveness, right, instead of just sinking, as you support yourself with a little bit of lift, you might find that the stretch and your capacity to expand goes a little bit deeper. You might physically feel the stretch a little bit more deeply. And one more breath here. And then bring your hands down. Move your block to the side. Let's lift your back foot up. And we'll step forward into a squat. Left foot forward, hips hang down, hands to your heart. Lift your chest. And now you might feel a big difference between one hip and the other, right? We just did a little bit more of a stretch into one side. But can you practice, especially if this is, for many yogis, and not all yogis, so if this is not you, you're still perfect. But for many yogis, hanging down into this shape becomes your default. Can you find a little bit of that lift? So instead of sinking down, you're holding yourself up. And then how does the breath move now? Hands down, feet parallel. And let's bend the knees generously and find that rounded spine. And from that position with strong legs, roll yourself up to stand. Take the feet back to sit bone distance. Spread through the toes, take a breath. Land in this moment. Land in your capacity for stillness with what is. And using the whole length of the breath in, we'll stretch the arms up. Elbows turn to point forward as the palms face each other. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, fold down. Bend your knees. We're going to come from the ground up this time. Bend your knees, sit back into your heels. Spread your toes. Your toes are weightless. Lift up into your chair pose. Shift your weight into your left foot. Right leg goes back. Elbows spin forward. Upper arm bones lift. Maybe a little bend in that back knee as you lift the low belly and lift the chest and drop the bottom front ribs slightly. Full breath in. And a breath out. One more breath. Back heel turns down, opening to warrior two. From the shoulders, you can see my shoulder blades facing this way. Roll the shoulders back to turn the palms up. Notice if that lifts your bottom front ribs. Drop them slightly. And as you do, don't let that impact your knee. So keep the inner left knee reaching forward. Can you feel the connection between all of those things? And then just from the wrists, so not impacting the shoulders, palms face down. Breathe into where you are. One more full breath. Moving your left foot over to the left. Hands come down, back knee comes down. And again, instead of sinking down, lift your hips up today. Lift your hips up and then drop your head down, and maybe you'll use a prop underneath your forearms. Be with your breath. Keep the lift of the hips even as your head hangs down. And then move your block to the side. Hands to the ground. Lift your hips high, come up onto your fingertips. And sit back down into your squat. And again, find a little stability. So your hips might lift a little higher than gravity wants them to be. And then from here, bring your hands down to the mat between your feet. And maybe you just hop your feet back a little at a time. Maybe you want to come through a crow pose and shoot your legs back. We'll meet however you want to get there. Maybe those are fun. However you want to get there. Downward facing dog. Spin your elbows in towards each other. And lengthen the upper arm bones away from your torso. Walk your hands and feet towards each other. And slowly roll up to stand. We have time for this. So I haven't been doing a lot of inversions in this class because I can't see you. And I don't know how comfortable I feel teaching you to go upside down when I can't see you. But we've been really preparing the upper body for handstands today. If you just heard the word handstands and you're like, oh no, don't worry, there is an option for you. So I think you can see me on my wall. Yes. Okay. So if you want, you can take your mat over the wall. If you want something under your hands, we're just going to be here for a few moments. If you don't mind your floor, you can go on your bare floor. We're going to set up for a down dog the way we've been doing, with the elbows spinning in. Actually, let's all do an upside down handstand together first. You see my hands? Elbows spin forward, and then as the arms straighten, keep the elbows spinning forward, flex the wrists. And look what happens. When my arms lift up, my bottom front ribs lift up. So as I'm pushing them up and I'm lifting the upper arm bones, I'm also engaging by dropping my bottom front ribs down. So I'm going in the two opposite directions. Lift the arms up, press up through the heel of the hand, drop the bottom front ribs down. Take a breath. You can practice this one for longer, or you'll come into a down dog with your hands. So I recommend about a handprint from the wall. If you've been doing handstands longer and you're starting to play with balance, you can practice going a little bit further back. And you'll set up for a down dog, and you'll spin your elbows back and press your hands into the floor and see if you can, right, the upside down equivalent of lifting your upper arm bones towards the ceiling is not lifting your arm bones towards the floor, because they're not moving, but it's lifting the rib cage up away from the floor. See if you can keep that as you shorten your stance. So you can just stay here and practice this lift. If you want to take it a little bit further, you can practice the lift with one leg. Spin your elbows back, push the floor away. If you want to take it a little further, maybe you'll take a few little hops
scoop the bottom front ribs in, and maybe you find the wall. Maybe you keep one leg off the wall, draw your bottom front ribs in, reach your chest slightly forward, straighten your arms. Maybe you play with balance for a moment, and then land lightly. I'm going to give you one more moment to try that again if you'd like. We're going to hang out with me in a forward fold. Be with your breath. And in my forward fold, if you're still handstanding, keep handstanding. I'm sure you're doing amazing. If you're in your forward fold, you can walk your hands to one side, lengthen the sides of the waist, and then the other side. And come back to center. Bend your knees, push through your heels. And slowly roll up to stand. So let's all meet in a child's pose on your mat. And in this child's pose, have your knees about as wide as your ribs so that your thighs can support your rib cage and your spine is supported in a more rounded position. And this can actually be a nice release for the neck. So you can stay here, or if you'd like, you'll prop yourself up on your elbows. And your elbows are quite a ways forward of your shoulders, and just slide your hands from the base of your neck up your neck. So you're just kind of massaging, lengthening the neck a little. And you'll gently interlace them at the base of the skull. So depending on your anatomy, you'll figure out where it's comfortable to position the arms. And the idea is you're just lengthening the back of the neck. And now we're going to sway towards the left and push with your right hand. So push your right hand gently forward. So you're lengthening the whole right side of the neck. And you can even rest your forehead on your left bicep. And you're just getting a gentle lengthening through the right side of the neck. And you're using your right hand, pushing against the base of your skull. This is gentle. So just breathe here. And then go the other way. So your forehead can rest on your right bicep. And you're using your left hand to gently push the left side of your skull away from your left shoulder. And breathe. Maybe one more of those each side, a few breaths each side. You can just rest in your child's pose if you prefer. I actually made this up for myself when I had a stiff neck last week. Slept funny. I just fixed it. Turn your palms to face up, and instead of bringing the forehead down, bring the top of the head down. So you're really emphasizing that roundedness, that expansiveness of the upper back. Send your breath into that space of expansiveness. Maybe it's a good time again to check in with that salty solution you started with. And to notice your own capacity to expand, to contain, to experience all of your experiences. Keep your head down as you find your way up onto hands and knees, and just gently onto your back. We're not going into Savasana just yet, we will in a moment. You might want this rolled up towel that you have under your knees for when you go into Savasana, so have that within reach. You'll hug your knees into your chest. We need a little bit of unraveling of the spine. So we'll take a breath and let the breath go. And actually, if you have this roll, it might be nice to take it between your legs as you bring them up and across to the left. Just eases the pressure on the lower back in your twist. And then let your right arm relax out to the right. And unlike the twists we did in the beginning of class, let this one be as passive as you can. Let every exhale remind some fiber of some muscle that it can soften. That it can relax into your expansiveness. And then bring the knees back through center and over to the right. And the left arm can reach out to the left. And again, in this new direction, this new position, every time we move and land in a different shape, we remind our body it's safe to land, that you are expansive enough to be with whatever arises. And when you're ready, you can bring your knees back to center and set yourself up for your Savasana. As always, I'm going to find a seat and I'm going to send some distance healing to those who desire to receive it. And you can receive by simply setting the intention, whether you're watching live with me now or sometime in the future. You can also choose not to receive by gently setting that intention. You take your time settling yourself into a resting shape on your back. Maybe using that rolled up towel or blanket underneath your knees. Connected to your own spaciousness. Your own capacity to be with yourself.
attention back now to your breath. Take a big, expansive breath in. And a full breath out. And as you begin to sense the feeling of the air, the room around you on your skin, feel your awareness expanding into the space around you. Just as you contain so much inside of you, the space around you, the earth, is here to hold you. The earth has always got you. Stretching through your hands and through your feet. Bend your knees. Feel your feet on the ground. Gently rolling onto your side. As much ease as you can bring into this transition. Find your way up to sit. Joining the palms at the heart. Take a full breath in together. And a complete breath out. Bowing the head to the infinite wisdom of the heart. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. So great spending this time with you. And I will see you next week.